Welcome to BTV Channel 10. My name is Leo Schumaker, and today on Adventures with Leo Schumaker, we'll be talking about running and racing with local Bellingham, Washington runner Amber Morrison. Hello, Amber.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to talking to you about running because I think it's so important to keep in shape for your life.
Absolutely.
So how did you get started running?
I got started running a little bit later than most people usually get running. I didn't start running until I was 25. I played soccer growing up, high school, college, and some friends signed me up for a half marathon, the Seattle Half Marathon, one year and said, come do this thing, it'll be really fun. So I ran with them and I had a great time and started picking up some local races, and there were a few runners here locally in town through Fairhaven Runners that I ended up connecting with, kind of found a community. We would meet up at the track on Wednesdays, and that's how I kind of got into it. It was very contagious and found people I could run with, and it just started blossoming from there.
And I met you at Fairhaven running with Carol Frazee was doing a class. You and Courtney were there, Courtney Olson.
Yep.
And it was fun to hear Carol talk about it.
Yeah.
She had a lot of information. She seemed like a good coach. Do you have a coach?
I do. I am coached by James McCurdy. He's part of McCurdy Trained, and he's out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
That's a good place for runners.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I ran over there
I've
before.
actually never been up there. Altitude would be amazing. If I could ever get a block off work that big enough, it'd be fun to go. But I've been working with him pretty much since the start of COVID, so it was kind of a weird time to transition to a coach. I had had some other coaches in the past and then did some self-coaching, which was okay, but it's just not the same as having that accountability and just the details that the coach provides.
Do you give him information about your running?
Yeah, so he kind of knew my running history. Most of anything that he wants now is my work schedule because it's so varied. So we have a format that we use online. I load in my work schedule, any major things I have coming up, take vacation, do you have something come up? And I load it into there. And then most of my runs auto-load through my Garmin or my Poros watch. And then he and I talk probably on the phone once, twice a week, and then text daily. And if I'm really anxious, then it's more than that.
Do you get anxious about a race?
For sure. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I still do. Yep, I have the worst sleep anxiety. I'm horrible. I've tried everything. And so now I think at this point, I've just learned that the night before doesn't matter. I'm not going to sleep. And it's proven itself to be true time and time again, and I've had great days. So not all have been great days, but I don't think that's ever played as much of a role as I think it has.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but it took 15 years to figure that out.
So tell us about your running equipment. What kind of shoes do you wear?
I wear Nikes. I've been kind of through a few different shoes. I ran with Brooks for a little bit, and I ran with Saucony for a little bit, and I tend to get Achilles tendonitis really easy, so the whole 0% or the flat shoes and a lot of things went to a really low heel stack, and a lot of the Sauconys did, which I loved them. It just didn't work for me. And so I had a lot of the Nikes now have like an 8 to 12 millimeter heel stack, and I find that my Achilles stays happier, so therefore those are the shoes I run in.
And what model do you use?
I use the Pegasus as my daily trainer. Yeah, they've been around forever.
I just got a new pair coming in the mail today.
Yeah, they're so good. I mean, and all the different colors and all the different things. I love the Pegasus, and then I definitely am racing now in the next percents, the fancy shoes.
Good. And they have the ones with the narrow heel, like point.
Yeah, kind of tapered down at the back.
It's weird, isn't it?
They feel weird. They feel...
Good, I feel better, because I was feeling this is different.
No, they feel weird. There's almost like a rocker to them. And I do feel like you just kind of get this extra little pop.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I only use them for race day because I don't want them to feel like the standard. I kind of want to train and just a trainer, and then only use those shoes for race day, so I feel like they're a little extra magical.
So one more thing about the shoes. Do you have a certain color?
Nope, I
Because I wear black.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I've never been a color person. Like if that just happens to be the color they make and that's the shoe that works for me, I don't really care. There's definitely colors I don't love, but it's more about the function of the shoe for me. Yeah.
Good. And are you sponsored by anyone?
Not currently. Nope.
Do you have special shorts, tank top, gloves, anything?
I race in some buns or some small shorts from Nike. I have a few different crop tops that I'll wear, or a singlet, just depending on the weather. Nike made these really great crop tops that actually have pockets in the front and they have a pocket on the back. And so you can store all your gels, like if you have a small little bottle and it has a little band pocket here. So I can put 4 or 5 gels in there and have racing buns on and not have to worry about pockets or stuff.
Good idea.
You know, in a race you're not worried about your keys or anything, but those crop tops have come in super handy. It's like a little like utility belt built in. I really like them.
Where do you buy them at? Do you buy them online, or do you go to the Nike store or the running
Yeah,
store?
I found them on runningwarehouse.com.
That's a great place.
Yeah, they had them on clearance, and again, color, didn't care. There was like a purple and a white, and they're amazing. Like a bunch of my teammates now have them too, just because you can put so much stuff on you in a race. You know, before, you know, as girls, you know, you have your sports bra, you have your little gels, and they cut you up so much. You end up just putting them.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, so we end up putting them in our bras, because if you just have racing buns on, you don't really have pockets.
Right.
So yeah, you could put all the Vaseline on in the world on your chest, but the foil packets just cut you up. So it has this like inner layer and a pocket. So I've been racing in that quite a bit. That's kind of my go-to.
And for people out there listening to about Vaseline, you have to have Vaseline on the long race.
Yeah.
When you get in the shower after a race,
Yeah, that's when you know you've chafed, right? It's the shower and you're like, oh man, I did not know that could happen there.
It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
Now, you're talking about gels and everything. What kind of gels do you use?
I'm using something called Huma right now that I really like. I tend to be really sensitive to caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, you know, a lot of the gels now are caffeinated.
Like glue, it's caffeine.
Yeah, so many of them are. And consistency, I don't like that really thick consistency that's almost like frosting. I feel like it's like those frosting packets you get as a kid and eat them after school or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know, it doesn't work well for me. So Power Gel makes a good one that I like because it's really thin, and so does Huma. And they have extra salt. I tend to need more salt.
So do I.
Yeah, it's just been a trial and error, to be honest, and just kind of finding what works. But I found that caffeine can lead to multiple bathroom stops for me. So, so
interesting.
caffeine has not been a thing. So it's, believe it or not, it's really hard to find non-caffeinated gels nowadays. Like almost everything has, 2 times caffeine, 3 times caffeine. Doesn't work for me.
Talk about salt. Now, when you get home from a run, you have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
What's their names?
Maggie and Bailey.
And they probably come over and start licking your legs and everything.
Lick. Yep, the whole thing. It's like you're the human salt lick. If I have friends come over, they like go for the legs right away.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
First time my dog did that, I had a Cocker Spaniel. And he would do that. I go, what are you doing? Get away from me.
It's all the salt. They just want the salt. Yeah. Like, Yeah.
So diet. What do you have for breakfast?
I'm pretty much a toast and butter kind of girl.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've kind of gone through the different things over the years. I used to do, toast and peanut butter, cereal, oatmeal. I don't know, just good old bread and butter seems to work really well for me. It's pretty easy on the stomach. It's kind of my staple. But I definitely go through trends of it. That's kind of where I've been the last 2 to 3 years.
Have you?
Yeah, Kerrygold Irish butter. So good.
I've never heard of it. Kerrygold Irish.
Oh my
Kerrygold Irish butter for all you out
Super
there.
salty, and it's amazing. It's so once you go to that butter, you're never going back.
I'll look for it.
Yeah, you should.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, what about lunch?
It's kind of off for me. So my work schedule is all over the place. So sometimes lunch is when normal people eat lunch. Sometimes lunch is 3 or 4 in the afternoon for me. I'm kind of a snacker. I kind of graze all day. If I can get some sort of protein, carbohydrate in there. Usually wake up, have breakfast, kind of the routine, run, and then lunch is immediately after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of immediately after the run that I have lunch, and so sometimes it's just whatever I can find. But today was like some crackers, cheese, salmon, a salad. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
And
I
how about
don't overthink it.
How about dinner?
Dinner, I don't even know what it'll be. It'll be at work. Whatever's on at the hospital tonight.
Amber is a physician's assistant, working hard for y'all out there, and it's really important that you support her in her work. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Amber Morrison is our guest on Adventures with Leo Schumaker. You have a big race coming up, Amber,
I do.
in 10 days.
Yeah.
The
Is that what it
125th
is,
running.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
125th
10 days.
running of the Boston Marathon. Have you run the race before?
I have. I've run twice.
Mhm.
I ran in 2010 and 2013. I went back in 2017, but I was injured, so I just supported a friend when I was there.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I have not been back since.
It's been nasty weather sometimes, like in 2018, the wind was blowing sideways, there was lightning and thunder. That must be hard.
Yeah,
that
I'm
kind
glad
of
I
weather.
wasn't there. Yeah.
Mhm.
This year's gonna be a little interesting because it's mostly, the race is off, it's in April. It's
Mhm.
Patriots Day,
Mhm.
Boston has the day off, it's a big holiday, big celebration. And with COVID, they postponed the race until October this year. So weather may look a little bit different. I've never been to New England in the fall, not
Mhm.
really sure what to expect.
A lot of leaves.
A lot of leaves, a lot of color, that's about it. But
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping not to have the drastic swings like you're explaining where you can have these rainstorms, like you can have snow and then it can be 85 in April. So they've had heat years, they've had snow years, they've had rain and wind years. So hopefully it's a little more mellow in October.
And the thing I've read about is the athletes' village
Mm-hmm.
is not going to be there.
Correct.
So there's no bathroom before you start your race, there's no place to grab your water and orange juice and
Right.
bananas, you just have to get on there and race. And it's a
Yeah.
long walk from the buses to the starting line.
It is, it's a mile, it's almost a
Is
mile.
it really a mile?
Yep.
I keep thinking, where's it at? Where's
I
it
know,
at?
yeah. Yeah, everyone's worried about how are you gonna get warmed up? I'm like, well, we have a pretty good truck to the start. So my understanding is that once we get dropped off, we have 30 minutes to start our race. And then the next wave comes in, the next wave comes in. So you pretty much get dropped off, kind of shed your stuff, walk to the start, and it's go time, which is very different than it's been in the past where there's a community, an athletes village, everyone's excited, nervous, chatting with each other, kind of getting warmed up. That won't be there this year. It's kind of a drop off and go.
What wave will you be in?
First wave.
Really? That's great.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Just go right behind the elite men. So
What time will you start?
I believe in 9:30.
And they send you a number already.
Yeah.
But we're not really supposed to say it on the air because they don't want people take it unfortunate. People do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So, but if people want to track you, they just go to Amber Morrison, correct?
Yep, they should be able to look me up.
It's
That way.
interesting because people were following me when I was running. They're going, "You're here, you're here, you're here."
Uh-huh.
And I remember the dog with the Boston Marathon shirt on, and he had a stick with two flags.
Yes.
I
yes.
love that.
I like that guy every year. Yeah. There's so much fun stuff to see along the way. I am hoping, that people are spaced out and all the things, but I am hoping that there's still some of that stuff because
It's exciting.
that's what makes Boston Boston.
Yeah, they're crazy out there.
Without it, it's just kind of like running another country road into town.
Yes, and it's from
Yeah.
Hopkinton to Boston, right downtown.
Yep,
26.2 miles, maybe just a little further, isn't it?
it is always a little further.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always mark it long. Yeah.
But it's going to happen, and that's an exciting thing to happen. What was your times, the both times you did it?
I don't remember the first year. The last time I ran 2:49.
How did you feel at the race? What was it like walking up and towing the line?
I was pretty darn nervous because I forgot my watch in the hotel room. And I got on the bus and pretty much had a meltdown because I didn't have my watch. And I felt like I was so dependent on that watch to keep my splits, to know how fast I was going, to make sure I paced myself correctly, and I didn't have it. And so I couldn't think about anything else. So when I got onto the line, I just started making friends with people who had watches on. I said, what time were you shooting for? What are you looking for? And I just tried to find people along the way that were looking for the same target I was looking for. And, would speed up, realize they were going, faster than I wanted to, slow back down. And so my whole goal, a complete miracle that it happened, I wanted to break 250. And I ran like 2:49.58. I mean,
Wow.
it couldn't have been like more perfect. And I didn't need a watch. I didn't need a watch, so.
And that's one thing about people, they take their watches and depend on their watches, but you don't
Yeah.
really, do you?
No, I mean, you do. Obviously that day I didn't. There's enough people around you kind of looking for the same pace that you'll make friends, and
That's the
Yeah.
best thing, isn't it?
it is.
Running friends are great.
Yep.
So, talk about running friends. There is the Bellingham Distance Project here.
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
So we're a group of sub-elite men and women. We have 1 or 2 pros on our team as well. We started it about 5 or 6 years ago. There was a group of 6 of us girls that were traveling down to Seattle to practice with a team down there. That was really the only competitive team in the mix. And we're driving 2 hours to try to meet with people to be able to get to that next level of running. So we said, hey, there's 5 or 6 of us here. Why are we driving down? Why don't we just do our own thing and see if we can't start finding, more local talent or people in Skagit, island counties that are willing to join us instead of having to always go down to Seattle. And so we started that. We started out with women first and then added the men about 3 years ago. And so I believe we have around 35 athletes now.
Are you supported or sponsored?
Some people are individually sponsored. We have some team sponsorships with Honey Stinger, Noon, and one of the local running stores.
And Noon is a drink.
Noon is a drink, right? It's an
What is Honey
electrolyte.
Stingers?
Honey Stinger, they have gels, they have, my favorite thing's these little waffles that they have, they're pretty darn good.
Waffles?
Yeah, they're like these little sweet waffles. They're like a little
Good.
candy treat, yeah, they're kind of good. Like in the early morning, if you just have to like get up and go, they're pretty great for that, yeah.
And sugar is important.
Oh, it's so
You
important.
gotta have it.
Yeah,
What do you eat before a marathon?
toast and butter.
In a marathon?
During
Really?
it or before?
Before.
Yeah, toast and
Really?
butter.
So you keep it regular?
Get pretty regular. I get pretty anxious. I get nervous. It gets really hard for me to eat the morning of. And so toast and butter is a pretty good one. If I can't get that down, believe it or not, I eat Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
I know.
A lot of people do that.
It's high calorie, it's very low volume, it's sugar, it's fat. It works. I mean, it's not a lot of volume to get a bunch of calories in, and they always taste good.
What flavor?
I have brown sugar. I always go for brown sugar, yeah.
Oh. Do other people get involved in the Bellingham Business Project? Do people just drop in and say, I want to join?
Not necessarily. We kind of are looking for a certain time range of where people want to run. It's a very wide open time range. We have people, on the track, on the trails, on the road, but just really looking for people who want to compete. So people who want to compete, club events, national events, looking, who want to train 7 days, 6 days a week. That's kind of what we're after, not necessarily just people just to drop in for a group run. It's more just people looking to compete.
I'll be darned. So is there a website or a Facebook page they can follow?
Yeah, we're BellinghamDistanceProject.com, and then we have a Facebook page with Bellingham Distance Project and an Instagram account as well.
Does social media help runners?
I think so. I think it can help and hurt, just like in any venue. I think it can help with motivation, seeing what people are doing, but also I find that can be harmful too, is that comparison. Oh, well, look at what they did, I'm not doing that. Oh, they're doing this extra mileage, or they're doing this extra strength training, I'm not doing that. And I think it can be dangerous in a way too.
Okay.
So I think that's in everything that we do though,
What about the gym? Do you go to the gym a lot?
I don't.
You just run?
I run. I have a room upstairs that has some really basic stuff in it, and that's where my treadmill's at. So I do have a treadmill that I use as well. But yep, I have some really small weights. Like I don't do anything extreme. So it's just a lot of body weight stuff, or maybe some 10 and 20 pound weights. But that's about it.
We're talking to Amber Morrison about the Bellingham Distance Project, about the Boston Marathon, our history, and you talked about a treadmill.
Yeah.
We live in Bellingham, Washington. It rains a lot, it snows here. Treadmills really help, but I call them the dreadmills.
I do too.
Do you? Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
hard, isn't it?
Sometimes it is. YouTube is amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just have a big TV in front of it. And,
Uh-huh.
if you can put on something to basically just distract yourself, that's really helpful. Sometimes you can find little documentaries, sometimes running documentaries. I actually did not watch any of the Olympic Games this year, and I've saved all the events for this winter so that when I'm on the treadmill, it's fresh content for me. And then you kind of feel like you're part of it. And
Good
it's
idea.
motivating, and a men's 10K will burn 30 minutes for you. So
That's true.
yeah, that's what I do.
One thing I like about some of the running treadmills, you can put a program in there of you running down a trail
Yeah.
or up a path or around the beach or something. That's pretty exciting at times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're so fancy, all the different things that they do now. Yeah.
Did you buy it yourself?
I did. There was actually a gal who was a runner here in town probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was a fantastic treadmill, but she ended up having to relocate for work and couldn't take it, and so I bought it from her at a really low price. The hardest part was getting it upstairs in the house. It's heavy. It took 3 guys.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it did. It's really heavy.
When it's wintertime, do you still go out there?
I do. Yeah.
What do you wear? I mean, I wear gloves and I wear a hat, but I've always got to peel everything off.
Yeah. Gloves and a hat, pretty standard for me. Like,
Mhm.
it's almost getting to glove season for me.
Mhm.
Gloves, hat, jacket, tights. Pretty much it, yeah.
But you can get hot in clothing.
You can,
Oh.
you can, just depends, yeah. I don't run too hot, so,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Did you just run the Bellingham Marathon?
I did not, nope. I took this year off of it because I had Boston. Yeah, last year was helping race direct with it, but this year I did not. Courtney Olson took over this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not. I was going to run the 10K, but just decided that it would be better if I just waited my 2 weeks for my big day.
And there's some people who run up to the day of a marathon, the day before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of crazy.
No, I'll run the day before. Yeah,
Yeah?
like 3 miles.
Oh yeah,
4
3 miles,
miles,
okay, but
yeah.
not like 10 or 15 or 20
No,
miles.
No, no.
What's the longest distance you run before a marathon?
Like 5 miles. Yeah, I don't run very far. It's just enough to kind of shake out the nerves, make the body feel loose and good,
Mhm.
and then that's it.
What are your best times for a 5K?
Ooh, so 17:13,
Excellent. How about a 10K?
35:55,
Uh-huh. Half marathon
1:18:20 something,
and a marathon.
2:45:45.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll take it.
You think you'll ever get a sponsor?
I'm working with one right now, but I can't really talk a whole lot about it. But
Okay.
I'm working with one.
Good.
Yeah.
You should. It's expensive to go out there and run and
Yeah.
get shoes and pay your race fees, and it's important to have a sponsor. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're going to have one soon.
Yeah.
We're talking Amber Morrison. Have you ever been injured?
Oh yeah.
And what do you do?
Oh. It's changed over the years, for sure. Over 15 years, younger me would just keep going and think that you're gonna run through an injury. You can train through an injury. Older me has learned that that does not work.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to just hit the cross training hard. I'd go to the pool twice a day, just trying to keep and maintain fitness. And I'll tell you, to be honest, the last 2 or 3 years, if I've had something for, I just take the days off. And I've found that I bounce back way faster.
Good point.
And I don't lose much at all, if anything.
Uh-huh.
I think we kind of need the break. Yeah.
We put a lot of pounding on our bodies,
We
don't
do. We get older and all those things too, so.
we?
I know. But yeah, I used to just hammer hard on cross training and trying to keep fitness, and I think if anything, it just exhausts you mentally.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. If a young runner came up to you and asked you for help,
Mm-hmm.
guidance, are you a mentor? Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What are the basic things they ask you, and what do you tell them?
I mean, it kind of depends on the age. If you're talking to high school kids, probably the first thing I would tell them is to not completely specialize into a sport yet. I think it's great when some of these kids are running cross country and track, and yet they play basketball, they play soccer. If your body just does one movement from that age going forward, I find that those people don't have the same longevity in their career
Mm-hmm.
as kids that played soccer all the way through school, plus did running and other sports. I think there's other things that you learn from those other sports too, that
Mhm.
kind of carry over and translate into running. I always hope that people become lifelong runners and not just, oh, well, I ran in high school or I ran in college and that's it. I hope that they can enjoy it their entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell them that their best days are way ahead of them. It's not now, and everyone wants the now, but 10, 15 years from now is when they should be where they want to be.
And they get a picture taken of them in a race, and they're 60, 65,
Right.
70, 75, and they're
Right.
going, I'm still here.
I'm still doing it, right? Yeah.
So what if, now the running talk is done. You have a flower business.
I do. I own a flower farm.
What is it?
Kind
What's
of
it called?
crazy. It's called Bellingham Flower Farm.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and so I do farmers market, and I do specialty bouquets and weddings. And this started 2 years ago, and it just really took off. And it's been great. I definitely think it saved me during COVID, when everything was shut down, when everything seemed so horrible. There weren't any running races, that they just took so much of my time, and it wasn't there. And I found it really hard to train. I pretty much just started running for fun because there just wasn't anything out there that we could do, for a year and a half. And so I found a ton of joy in flowers, bringing flowers to people, selling flowers to people. It's so different than what I do every other day. people just are so excited, they smile, they're happy, they're celebrating something. I find a ton of joy in it.
What's your biggest seller?
Definitely,
Flower-wise.
peonies and dahlias.
Really?
Yep, those are
They're
probably my
beautiful.
two. Yeah, they're gorgeous. Yeah, the dahlias are still going till frost here, but
Ah.
yeah, the peonies are in the spring. Those are definitely the most popular flower. But yeah.
Is there a website?
BellinghamFlowerFarm.com,
Uh-huh.
and we have a Facebook page, it's Bellingham Flower Farm, and Instagram is Bellingham Flower Farm. Pretty simple.
Do you go to all the farmers markets?
I do 2 a month.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I have 2 more left in October,
Mhm.
and then that's pretty much when I end, because you're kind of gambling on frost, and once frost hits, I don't have flowers anymore.
You don't have a greenhouse?
I have a small greenhouse,
Uh-huh.
but nothing that would sustain what I could bring to farmer's market.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing, you said, talking about COVID, how hard it was for you.
Yeah,
It's double hard for you, triple hard for you, because you're a physician's assistant.
yeah.
How'd you get into that?
I've been a PA 12 years now. I knew I wanted to get into medicine when I was in college. I just wasn't sure which route I wanted to go. If I wanted to go to med school or PA school, and I settled on going to PA school. I went when I was 27, maybe,
Mhm.
28. Yeah, I went to University of Washington and then came back here.
Amazing that you can do all that.
Yeah, some days I wonder too. Sanity, I don't know.
Is it more work to be a doctor or a physician's assistant or a nurse?
I think they're all different. They're all different. I mean, I think you kind of said it. I mean, doctors can be way more school. There's just more that goes into it. There's residency. There's a lot more time that they put in. A lot, there's more education that goes into it.
Mhm.
And then a PA, and then a nurse. But they all have their roles. Every role is different. It's not to say that a nurse is inferior to a doctor by any means. So yeah, everyone just kind of has a different role.
If anybody wanted to follow you during the race, they just go to your Facebook page, or is there a site that they go, is there like Strava, or was it Strava?
Yeah, Strava's on there. I have an Instagram account, Amber Mo Runs, and that's
Amber Mo Runs, okay, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, at
That's
Amber Mo
really
Runs.
good.
Yeah, and that's probably updated more than anything else. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
You post a lot of pictures?
definitely pictures. Yeah, training sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little silent. Just depends.
How tired you are.
Yeah.
And you'll be working today, right?
Yeah, I work tonight at 6 tonight. So I work night shift.
Well, get plenty of rest, you got a big race
Yeah,
coming
I
up.
sure do.
And you're leaving October 8th.
I do. Yep.
Okay.
I fly out Friday.
I'll be there, but
Okay.
I'll be filming it.
Okay.
I'll be at a certain spot, and if you see me, you wave at me, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right,
Sounds
Amber.
great.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much,
much.
Leah. All right, thank you.